Welcome, baseball fans. Today we're diving into the heart of one of the most intriguing scandals to rock the sports world, as penned by the renowned author Robert Whiting. Get ready to uncover every twist and turn in the Mizuhara Ohtani gambling scandal that's left us all scratching our heads. I'm your host, Max Moran. Trust me, you won't want to miss a single detail. Picture this: Shohei Ohtani, the Los Angeles Dodgers shining star, leading his team onto the field on opening day in Seoul, South Korea, only for the spotlight to shift to his longtime interpreter, Ippei Mizuhara, embroiled in a scandal of epic proportions. It's a tale that's gripped the baseball world, and we're here to dissect every facet. But before we dive into the depths of the scandal, let's set the stage with Robert Whiting's riveting account of the events that folded. This is the article he published March 21st, 2024. Many questions remain to be answered in Mizuhara gambling scandal, which you can find on robertwhiting.substack.com. Tokyo. I was shocked to read the news that Ippei Mizuhara, the well-known interpreter and constant companion of Los Angeles Dodgers star Shohei Ohtani for the past several years, had been fired by the team for an alleged, quote, massive theft of millions of dollars from Ohtani to pay off gambling debts. Ohtani and his representatives have reportedly accused Mizuhara of stealing funds from the athlete in order to place bets with an illegal bookmaker, one Mathew Bowyer, whose home was raided by federal agents last year, according to the report in the Los Angeles Times. The same group has been investigating a large gambling operation in the area. Ohtani's name was found on a number of wire transfers. However, the fast-breaking sequence of reports is not without its curiosities. First, a spokesperson for Ohtani tells ESPN the slugger had transferred the funds to cover Mizuhara's gambling debt. The spokesman presented Mizuhara to ESPN for a 90-minute interview this past Tuesday night, during which Mizuhara lays out his story in great detail. Mizuhara tells ESPN that he had asked Ohtani to pay off its gambling debt, which was reported to have ballooned to at least $4.5 million. Mizuhara said he previously had placed bets via DraftKings and assumed bets placed through Bowyer were legal. Obviously, Ohtani, wasn't happy about it, and he said he would help me out to make sure I never do this again, Mizuhara said. He decided to pay it off for me. I want everyone to know Shohei had zero involvement in betting. I want people to know I did not know this was illegal. I learned my lesson the hard way. I will never do sports betting ever again. However, as ESPN prepared to publish a story Wednesday, the spokesman disavowed Mizuhara's account and said Ohtani's lawyers would issue a statement. So on Wednesday afternoon, Mizuhara then reverses himself and tells ESPN that Ohtani had, quote, no knowledge of his gambling debts and that Ohtani had not transferred money to the bookmaker's associate. Okay. Mizuhara claimed to ESPN that he had never gambled on baseball and instead bet on international soccer, the NBA, the NFL, and college football. A Dodgers spokesperson told the outlet that Mizuhara met with the team after Wednesday's game in Seoul and told players he had a gambling addiction. Gambling is legal in more than 30 states in America, including New Jersey, Nevada, New York, Illinois, Pennsylvania, Colorado, Indiana, Michigan, Virginia, and Arizona. Across the country, there are a range of top sports betting apps available in many states, including FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM, Caesars, and Bet365. A new entrant, Fanatics Sportsbook, also launched in 2023 and is now available in Kentucky, Ohio, Massachusetts, Maryland, and Tennessee. But it is not legal in California. California voters rejected two separate propositions in 2022 that would have legalized sports gambling in the state. First, the Proposition 26 would have legalized sports betting at tribal casinos, while Proposition 27 would have legalized online and mobile sports betting. Both were voted down. Moreover, there are strict MLB rules about gambling. No employee is allowed to gamble on baseball, only on other sports, as Mizuhara claimed he did. But Mizuhara's bookmaker was not licensed. Here's the relevant rule. I'm going to read it. Any player, umpire, or club, or league official or employee who places bets with illegal bookmakers or agents for illegal bookmakers shall be subject to such penalty as the commissioner deems appropriate in light of the facts and circumstances of the conduct. Any player, umpire, or club, or league official or employee who operates or works for an illegal bookmaking business shall be subject to a minimum of a 1-year suspension by the commissioner. For purposes of this provision, an illegal bookmaker is an individual who accepts, places, or handles wagers on sporting events from members of the public as part of a gaming operation that is unlawful in the jurisdiction in which the bets are accepted. Now, the job of an interpreter has to be a tough one. He is usually the player's only lifeline to the rest of the world. In many cases, he has to be more than someone who just translates back and forth between two languages, which is an exhausting task in itself. Simultaneous interpreters at the United Nations work in half-hour shifts because the effort and concentration required is so intense and stressful. The interpreter also has to be a diplomat. Beefy Samoan slugger Tony Soleda, playing for the Nippon Ham Fighters, once took umbrage at a beanball pitch thrown by an opponent, and the next day took his interpreter to the opposing dugout and buttonholed the offending hurler and said, quote, "You tell that guy if he ever throws at my head again, I'll fucking kill him with my bare hands." The interpreter's interpretation, quote, "He asks that you please not throw at his head anymore because his wife and children are worried he might get hurt." So Mizuhara might be forgiven for attempting to relieve some stress by engaging in some underground gambling. And some sympathy might be appropriate for his wife, who was photographed with him on the tarmac at Seoul with Ohtani and his wife. If that is indeed what happened. Some people ask me, is Mizuhara just a fall guy? That's a good question. Frankly, I didn't think that Ohtani had it in him to be a gambler. He seemed incapable of doing anything else besides playing baseball, practicing it, and studying about it. He even met his wife, a former pro basketball player, at the gym. They never actually dated because Ohtani doesn't like to go out to eat or drink. They just saw each other at the training facility. But this story doesn't exactly pass the smell test. Why would Mizuhara tell the story that he did about Ohtani and then do a 180 a day later and say the opposite? And if he knew the gambling story was going to come out after his Tuesday interview with ESPN, why go to Seoul and show up in the dugout all smiles with Ohtani, as was visible on TV last night? A strange sequence of events for two men who have been so close for so long. What do you think? And that is the end of Robert Whiting's article. So, from shocking allegations of embezzlement to clandestine gambling, the story took a series of unexpected turns. But what truly boggles the mind are conflicting statements issued by both Ohtani's camp and Mizuhara himself. And here's the kicker. Ohtani's representatives initially claimed that the slugger had agreed to cover Mizuhara's debts, only to backtrack the next day and disavow any knowledge of the situation. Meanwhile, Mizuhara himself offered a detailed account of events, only to later recant his story and absolved Ohtani of any involvement. The discrepancies between these accounts paints a picture of confusion and intrigue. What's the truth behind the tangled web of allegations? And how will it impact the careers of, well, both Ohtani and Mizuhara? Ohtani being more significant. As we delve deeper into Robert Whiting's gripping narrative, one thing becomes abundantly clear. There are still many unanswered questions surrounding the scandal, from the legality of gambling to the intricacies of interpreter-player relationships. Implications are far-reaching. So, stay tuned as we navigate the murky waters of professional sports and unravel the truth behind the headlines. Thank you for joining us today as we explored Robert Whiting's captivating account of the Mizuhara Shohei Ohtani gambling scandal. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button for more riveting updates. And until next time, keep your eyes on the game and your ears open for the latest developments. See you soon.